Be live on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
1 second in, we're live.
Here we go.
First few minutes of this are testing, baby. We'll start talking a little bit more about what we're going to do here, but the OddsFathers are back. My buddy Joe is with me here. Joe from Island Breaks.
What's up, guys?
We do some real cool stuff. So if you're watching this back, just bear with us for the first few minutes because we're setting everything up for our first actual live stream. So we're making sure YouTube works good. We're making sure Twitter works good. We're going to iron out all those kinks, and then we'll get started here. Joe, anything you got to say while I'm BSing around here?
I'm really excited to do this. It's something that's been in the works for a few weeks with me and the OddsFather over there, and very excited to finally actually get this done. We know very odd stats and very weird things about sports, so it's now fun to kind of record and post it for your liking.
This is true. All right, so I see on YouTube that we are live right now, which is good to know.
Nice.
We have one viewer so far, which is the OddsFathers.
Perfect.
Currently, so we have 2 viewers here. Oh, 2 viewers, both to the OddsFathers. So you're logged in as OddsFathers too?
No, Island Breaks.
Oh, maybe it won't show us who the viewers are. That's why it says 2 next to the OddsFathers. We're learning here, babe. We're learning. We're slowly learning. But I'm going to go on my phone, get the stream info. Oh, Amanda just said it was her. She was on.
Nice.
But I didn't see her name. So, subscriptions. This is pretty cool. OddsFathers. I see that we're online here, so I'm going to click it on my phone. I see that we're online here, so I'm going to click it on my phone. Look at that.
Crushing it.
Now, how do I copy and paste the link here? Maybe I'll go from Safari YouTube. Anyway, Joe, you want to BS with the people a little bit while I'm doing this?
Yeah, so the whole purpose of this is kind of to give everyone information on, we'll try hockey our best. Nick is a big hockey guy, but baseball, basketball, football season's right around the corner. That's where me and Nick shine. We're just going to do a weekly stream. We're going to try to do 30 minutes every single week at least. We're going to push towards an hour. And it's just going to be kind of like sports updates, hot takes, fantasy football, who you're taking it one-on-one, Jonathan Taylor most likely, different bets that we see. We get to actually talk now with the upcoming football season, plus or minus win totals, MVPs.
It's going to be a lot of fun stuff.
Rookies of the year, stuff like that, guys. It's going to be very entertaining for us. And like I said, show by show, we will get better. We do promise that.
I'm learning StreamYard, learning YouTube. I'm doing this on the fly, so
it's new to us. Normally, I'll record myself on Island Breaks, and I'll post breaks and hits, and I'm on Whatnot and Instagram and all that stuff. But as far as like actual live YouTube and stuff like this, I'm very new at. But as far as recording myself, a lot of people have seen my hands during my breaks and everything like that, and my voice, but not really my face. So this is the first for me.
So for me, I'm used to doing this, but I'm used to doing it through Twitter, not YouTube. But I want to do things free. I don't want to be charging for picks or anything like that anymore. And the YouTube community is a little bigger for this, so I kind of wanted a different type of outreach. So that's kind of why, that's kind of why the plan was to do this thing. So I'm going to post to Twitter right now and let everybody know basically, essentially what we're doing here. And once I do that, we'll start to get rocking and rolling.
Yeah, and guys, we'll also make sure you hit that bell, notifications on when we're going live and everything like that. Follow us on, Twitter mainly, Island Breaks, OddsFathers. We'll tweet when we're going live. You can interact with us on YouTube through the comments. You can interact with us on, Instagram, Twitter, like I said. But, it's just going to be entertaining. Like hot take, good, Giants don't win, hammer the Giants. If you're a Giants fan, come on into the comments, kind of tell us why we're wrong. We would love to communicate. Just build a fun community with, Island Breaks, OddsFathers, and all of our fans out there.
Couldn't agree more.
And like I already said, but I do want to reiterate, just come into the stream and comment. We're really here for not only to talk, but to interact. Maybe that, once again, I'm going to go back to football. Maybe that a running backs coach happened to change teams, and that's why you think, CMC is actually the lock at 101. Who knows? You have your uncle was CMC's doctor. You know that he's not going to get injured. You got to tell us these things. These things need to be known for the YouTube community. But no, it's just going to be fun, like I've already said. But we just want to kind of show what we have to offer, and hopefully you guys can come in, appreciate it, or if you dislike it, that's even better because you get to comment on how much you dislike what we're saying, and we can once again communicate back and forth. Interaction on all sorts of social media platforms is a lot of fun, guys.
We got a little chat from Dan Palmer right here saying, "What up? Not drafting CMC this year." So thanks for tuning in, Dan. I think that's hysterical. We're gonna get into all that kind of stuff because I'm still drafting CMC, which is probably the reason why I suck at fantasy football, right? But anyway, so what I was doing in the meantime was trying to post this to Twitter so that everyone can watch this back, see that we're back, and things are going a little differently this time. But essentially, I want to kind of step into why I was gone for so long. It's kind of a lot of stuff going through my personal life, right? Between kind of like job, same line of work or new job, and my wife and I had a baby. So my son is now almost 9 months old. So that was taking up a lot of my time. Getting home from work, that was kind of taking priority while he was young, even though my wife pretty much does all the legwork there, right? It just is what it is. Anyone who watches this as kids, you guys will know. But in regards to that, there was a lot of different things going on that kind of depressed it. And this is a slow time of year now because other than like the ending of the playoffs for, basketball, hockey, things like that, the rest of sports was kind of at a lull because I was kind of ended off on March Madness. Another thing I did was a lot of times I posted just my picks, and my picks just posted straight to Twitter. But what I kind of want to do is use YouTube because the community is a little better on YouTube. It's a bigger community. It's easier for people to watch. I love when people see and can interact with us. So I don't know about you, Joe, but I think the advantage of using YouTube and StreamYard here is having people being able to comment in the chat, interact with us, argue with us, go back and forth. They love the takes. I don't know. I know you're opinionated, but me personally, I don't shut the fuck up. I have real hot takes. And so sometimes people will write back and forth to me, but now it's a chance to watch it live, see my interactions, get in the chat, argue with us, and me and you will argue about things back and forth.
Look how heated you are right now. Just about how you get heated.
I'm heated about how I get heated, right? So those are the kind of things I wanted to do to change things up. I'm still going to post, plays, every day. But the plays will probably just be a quick video, 1, 2, 3 plays, why I like the specific plays. But the live streams are going to be about bets, most importantly, because that's what we're here for. That's what this is all about, our bets. But we're going to talk about all things sports world and let people join in and BS with us.
And as far as my followers, like I said, I'm very big into sports cards. Something that a lot of us did when we were kids during the pandemic. I kind of got back into it. So how the OddsFathers does his bets and all this, and I love football, so I'll bet football as well. But I make long plays. I bet on players, and I buy, as a grown man, I buy a picture of a grown man from another grown man, and that's my hobby. So it's a little different, but gambling nonetheless.
I mean, that's kind of like a real life NFT. So it's kind of like a TFT, like a trading FT.
You can hold that NFT. That's what makes it real.
It's tangible. It's not Bitcoin. It's not fake. Bitcoin's fake. Cryptocurrency is fake right now. Hopefully they'll utilize it one day. Right now, there's no utility.
Definitely fake right now. Look at the market.
But yeah, and I love how Joe keeps referring to, the OddsFathers. Like, Joe is part of the OddsFathers now. The OddsFathers was the OddsFathers because it was always meant to be more than just me, right? It was meant to be whoever partner I was with at the time, whenever fans of ours interacted with us. So now, the OddsFathers. It's Joe and I, and everybody else who joins, tunes in, and kind of follows along with us. But I'm super excited. I miss the community. For all you guys, I know it's so impromptu and kind of late at night for anybody on the East Coast. Wednesday, not a lot of people are going to be joining to this live. But I'm looking forward to when people watch this back. I want them to know, like, I miss the community. I miss BSing with everybody, talking bets, talking sports. I've still been doing it, but I've been doing it on my phone myself for 5 minutes for 3 seconds.
Privately.
Right. Exactly.
But now you got to stick to your word. Now, when you post your bets, now we actually see that how good you do. And trust me, guys, as someone that would follow Nick's bets, they're quite good. Hitting that good clips.
Hey, everyone goes through their peaks and valleys, right? As long as the peaks are bigger than the valleys, right?
I think that's how the term goes. Yeah.
I got a lot of new hobbies. I got a bunch of arcade machines in my basement here because that's my new thing. I'm into big retro. So I got Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all that Pac-Man bullshit in the background.
Don't forget about finger popping Golden Tee.
Yeah, I got a Golden Tee machine. It's all sports related, see? Mortal Kombat's not really sports related, but
MMA, man.
Yeah, exactly. Fatalities. I'm used to watching Conor McGregor rip somebody's skull out, right? But so there's a lot of things we want to talk about. I'm watching the Yankee game right now. That's something I want to talk about. We're going to talk about baseball. I want to open up with NBA free agency and everything that's going on with that because there's so much to miss that we haven't touched on.
Well, you told me about something really big today.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about bets, but first I want to talk about that. I'm a Knicks fan. You're a Nets fan. We're New Yorkers. We're not going to just be talking about New York sports, but you know what I mean. The thing that I'm hearing Brian Windhorst right now. There's no Woj bomb yet. Brian Windhorst and everybody are talking about Donovan Mitchell, the Knicks being the suitable landing place, and the Knicks were putting together a package for them. As a diehard Knicks fan, if you're not a Knicks fan, if you're a Jazz fan, or you're just a fan of basketball, what do you think it's going to take to get Donovan Mitchell? They have 8 first-round conditional picks, but 8 first-round draft picks. Most capital to give up for. They have Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly. They have Grimes.
You're probably sending all of them in at least 2 firsts.
As long as we don't have to get rid of Barrett. If you're the Knicks, not we, just talking from a different standpoint. If you are what up, Island Breaks. If you're a fan of basketball and you think, what do you have to give up? Obviously, Royce O'Neal signed with the Nets. He's gone.
Yep.
Rudy Gobert's gone. So the whole thing is blown up. What do you have, Conley? That's all you're left with. So you're going to have to trade him. He's not going to want to be there. Royce O'Neal, people say was his best friend, right? They say that Royce O'Neal was his best friend on the team. So he's gone. I think if you can get 3 to 4 first-round picks, Emmanuel Quickly, Grimes or McBride,
Toppin.
And obviously you're going to have to get rid of Fournier.
Yeah, but at that point, you just want to get rid of him.
You're not going to afford Donovan Mitchell without getting rid of his $18 million a year. So that's what it would take. But a lot of people are saying that Miami could be a spot. But Miami only has 2 first-round picks that they could trade.
What would they give up? Oladipo.
They just signed Oladipo for 1 year, $11 million.
And then what are they really going to? Big acquisition or big departure?
Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and 2 firsts. Yeah, Udonis Haslem. Yeah. That's it. They're going to get rid of Mario Chalmers and
they still have Chris Bosh's contract. I think technically they own that. They could send that away. But
yeah, exactly. So, but my point being is, I'm not just saying this to be a Knicks homer. I don't think that anybody else has enough to give up for Mitchell right now. A lot of the big teams that were going to make their trades made their trades. I mean, you could say that, the Mavericks go get him, but I don't think that because they had Brunson and they had Luka, right? But I don't think Donovan Mitchell and I don't think Luka can work together. They both like to handle the ball too much.
So now,
like you, Joe, you'll handle balls.
I'll actually go right to that then, because do you think the fact that Brunson didn't even give the Mavs an opportunity to re-sign, like where's your take on that? Like, because Mark Cuban can come out and say whatever he wants, and I can believe what I want, but I do believe that Mark Cuban said that he didn't even get to talk to him. He went right away and went and signed to the Knicks. Like, do you think that the Mavs could know that the Knicks are in talks and maybe Cuban has a little animosity towards the Knicks and gives them that much more?
I think both. I think because the Knicks didn't want to trade because they knew that Brunson would come there. So there was no deal to be made. And also Brunson, who was it? Brunson's father or somebody works for the Knicks. Forget exactly who it is.
That's where also you can get into like league tampering because, like, dude, your dad now gets hired by the Knicks, what, a month or two before you then sign with the Knicks?
Exactly. So, I mean, there's a lot of things going on there, but free agency, I mean, it's been pretty wild. And I mean, I think the most wild thing is I don't think anybody saw the T-Wolves going to get Rudy Gobert. Like, comment in the chat if you believed before that trade made that, oh yeah, where do I see Rudy Gobert ending up? Oh, he's gonna go to the T-Wolves. Bullshit. You're lying. You're lying second shit. Nobody thought him and Towns they would have both. Because I know that like Towns is more of like a swing 4 or 5. He's a big man.
Well, I mean, that combination would have dominated in the late 90s and early 2000s. That's the Spurs. But can they actually make that work? So no one's going for a layup because you're getting blocked either way.
I got news for you. They're not dunking. It's not Duncan and Robinson.
No, I understand that. But as far as that, like, dude, this pair is you haven't seen this since then. I'm not trying to compare them to them, but dude, there's no center or power forward combo right now in the NBA that is like those two.
No, and I mean, listen, you still have the other pieces around them. You didn't have to get rid of Anthony Edwards.
No.
And obviously you have your point guard. You still have Russ. So that team is going to be dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, they were, an inch away from moving on in the playoffs, but they ran into Memphis, who the only reason Memphis got knocked off was because they played Golden State.
Yeah.
And even that series was a great series.
Ended in 6?
Yeah. 6 games. So, I mean.
So, hold on. Memphis actually gave Golden State as good of a run as Celtics.
Well, I mean, yes and no, though. I mean, I still think. I mean, not to be.
Jaws living rent free in Draymond's head. That's all I remember.
Yeah, well, Draymond's living rent free in El Perez's head. All those, I think that was the funniest things. All those shirts said like Draymond is a meanie and like fuck Draymond and shit. And then he just went out there and I used to hate on Draymond because I'm like, oh, he's a chippy player. He like talks like he's a dick, blah blah blah, the whole nine. But like, I actually respect it because he is who he is. He's like, that's my role, and he does it on purpose, and he does it good, and gets assists for a position you wouldn't think would be a guy who gets assists. Like, he figures his shit out.
No, I you know what? I'm indifferent about Draymond because I do like the way he plays, but I don't like him. So, I mean, as far as an NBA player, you only can judge someone based off what they do on the court. And listen, you put him in a different situation, maybe he doesn't have, like you said, those assists, the rebounds, the points. Dude, I mean, you play with Curry and Thompson, they're not worried about you, Draymond. Like, they're worried about the other two guys. And now Wiggins comes in, and he has a great year. And Iguodala is a decent role player. And, it's – I don't know. It's never really Draymond's ball. Draymond's there, and he knows his role on the team. So,
but anyway, I don't, not to get away from free agency, but basically, so like now you have the Kyrie drama, and Kyrie's going to go to. Of course, Kyrie's going to go to the Lakers. Dude, and here's the worst part about it:
I want Kyrie traded so bad, man.
Yeah, but all the Nets fans are saying, I'm not trying to call you out, but all the Nets fans are like, yeah, I want Kyrie gone so bad. But the only landing spot for Kyrie now is going to be to go to LA, and you're going to have to pick up Westbrook's $40 million a year contract. So all the Nets fans are like, oh, good, can't wait to go. The experiment didn't work out.
That's all speculation.
But it's still bullshit because I would never, ever want to have Westbrook at $40 million a year. And so you have Westbrook, Royce O'Neal. Like, who's your team?
I heard Jarrett Allen's going to come back. I heard Spencer Dinwiddie wants back. I heard that the Nets are going to make a really good trade. They're going to get Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett again.
And 4 first-round picks they're going to have to give up, right?
Yeah.
They gave up 4 first-round picks in 2012 for that trade. Imagine that, what the draft capital they gave up for that trade back then is equivalent to now giving up like 7 first-round picks.
I mean, I saw what those 4 first-round draft picks went for. I forget 2 of the players, but 2 of them ended up being I think actually one of them was Marcus Smart. So it actually ended up being Brown, Tatum, and Smart were 3 of the 4 draft picks.
Really? Even that long ago?
Yeah, because they did the switch. You weren't able to give up that many first
right.
round
So they had to give them up in 2015 first-round pick or shit like that.
Yeah. It was listen, I understand. I mean, back then you had a good team. You made the trade, and then you just fell apart. But listen, I'll never fault someone for going all in on when you think you have an opportunity. The East really wasn't that strong that year. Like LeBron still had no one around him. Paul George was on the Pacers, but he wasn't anything yet. dude, and Boston just traded away their team. So there was only 3 teams really in there. So
where does KD go now? Because Phoenix said the only way that the Nets said the only way we're trading him to Phoenix is if you give up Devin Booker. That's not happening.
no.
So where is he going?
I think
Miami for nothing for 2 first-round picks.
I think the
and
best
Duncan Robinson
spot could end up being, and we're going to go back to Golden State. If they can give up a few first-rounders,
Jordan Poole,
Andrew Wiggins, maybe Wiseman, they really still want to get rid of. If you give those 3 players and 3 first-rounders for Kevin Durant that doesn't want to play, I think Golden State wins that trade because they're getting Kevin Durant and they're getting that team that won 3 finals in a row. Oh no, 2 finals in a row, and because Durant got injured in the finals, that's when Kawhi got his. But I'm not upset. Like you already pointed out, the Kyrie trade makes me more upset. The fact that you have to send him to the Lakers because he's not going to play for anyone, dude, that's awful. That trade gets me more upset. I don't want either guy. I think they both can play well together. I think they can give Giannis one hell of a run for his money. I think Boston. I don't see Boston doing what they did again next year. That's just my opinion.
I don't think so either. I think they got like the most during the regular season out of all those guys.
Dude,
Marcus Smart was Defensive Player of the Year. Brown played out of his mind. Tatum, up until the last couple of games of the series, played out of his mind.
And all those memes about Al Horford getting mad at Giannis, and that was the trigger. Come on now. But listen, they went out there and they won those games. Listen, that first game when Golden State was up and then Boston went up, everyone's like, wow, I guess Boston's legit. And then you saw, but I just think, the Nets are going to rebuild the proper way. Go get first-round draft picks. Go get really good role players that are going to break the bank, which that's what you see a lot of these teams do. And listen, let's see where we're at a year, 2 years, 3 years. I'm not upset.
I agree. Before we talk about it, I want to end the show talking about like bets for tomorrow that we like, because obviously it's most importantly, about sports betting. But while we're BSing, for people who joined in late, you'll watch it back, blah blah blah. I was gone for a while, personal reasons. We're gonna be back. We're gonna be doing a show every single week like this. It's always gonna be live. Q, Bill O'Reilly, we'll do it live. Fuck it. So people can interact with us, comment with us, argue with us, tell us their thoughts on everything. We'll talk about the bets that we told you the day before. We're still going to post bets every day, the bets that we like. It's always going to be free. There's no more VIP. I don't have time to deal with that BS where, you do good for 45 days in a row and you have one bad day and somebody's like, oh my God, I want my money back. You had one bad day. You know what I mean? Like, okay, bad days happen. I'm not doing that. Everything's going to be free.
Peaks and valleys, baby.
It is what it is. But most importantly, like, we're back and that's what we're going to do. So anyway, I want to talk about NFL.
Thank God. I was going to say, please let's talk.
There's 2 things I want to talk about so badly when it comes to the NFL right now.
Hey, Nick, what fan are you of?
I think everybody unfortunately knows that I'm a Jets fan.
Wow. So are there
we got some
rumors? Rumors swirling around about your team?
I think the Jets are going to be good because we got some dogs this year, baby. You know what I mean?
And defensive dogs, right?
Yeah. In case anybody has been living under a rock. Because obviously we know this by now. Great rundown. Come on, Yankees. You got to beat the Reds. We can lose 4 in a row. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, Zach Wilson, the situation. If you've been living under a rock, you don't know. Zach Wilson broke up with his girl. His ex-girlfriend was dating his ex-best friend, college roommate, BYU, the whole line.
Wide receiver number 5 on the Commanders, baby. Dude, homie hopper.
Literally. Homie hopper. And then she comments back. Dogs, I got dogs. She comments back and says, oh, yeah, well, guess what? He's banging his mom's best friend. So, obviously, living under a rock, you know what was going on. Everyone was commenting. Players were commenting, rallying around Zach Wilson. Good. His girl's with his ex-best friend. Who cares? He's out. This guy likes to bang moms. Suddenly, everybody is a diehard Jet and Zach Wilson fan. Hilarious. I love it. But I want to see wins on the field, most importantly, because it's been 47 years since I've seen wins on the field. But it's the funniest thing in the world. Zach Wilson is at a throwing camp with a whole bunch of his receivers, other quarterbacks. Joe Flacco was there. He posted a picture. He posted a picture on Instagram today, and the caption was like, "Oh, I was too busy out with my boys, like,
no service,
practicing in Idaho. I didn't have the best service. What'd I miss?
Dude,
Fucking
dog.
legend. Dog. The Jets are so back. The Jets win total. I'm not saying because I'm a Jets fan. The Jets win total because I rip on them for the last like 3 or 4 years. I ripped on them every year. Years ago, I used to have false hope, but I've been ripping on them. The win total is 5.5 with all the free agency moves they made, with all the good draft picks they made. A second-year quarterback now, 5.5 wins. They go 6-11 and you win money. Take the fucking bet.
5.5 is that's pretty much saying at 5.5, if you took the under at 5, that means you're saying that they get the 4th overall draft pick next year.
I don't think that happens again.
I just think that there's worse teams out there. It's 5.5. You sent me the Caesars book, right?
Yeah.
The Jets. Well, can you tell me what it was? It was the Jets are the most bet team to win the AFC East.
That was FanDuel, actually. I think.
Okay.
They are the most heavily bet team to win the AFC East. It's more than Buffalo, which is crazy because it's the and they were like one of the highest. They're over 5.5 was the highest bet over for any team as well. So I think you look at their team on paper with all the free agents and draft picks that they had. You're like they could stumble across 5, 6 wins, even if they suck. But anyway, that's the story of Zach Wilson. But another quarterback that's different kind of drama that I want to talk about is this happened obviously a week ago, whatever. But Baker Mayfield, like everyone in the world. My buddy from Game On, if you follow Game On, he was posting every single day, saying that he's going to Seattle. Seattle, even NFLshop.com, like accidentally leaked a Seattle Baker Mayfield jersey. Like, so everyone was like trying to find a site to bet their money on that he'd be the next quarterback there. Everyone thought it was a done deal. Where else could he go? He goes to Carolina. And I want to talk about how controversial this is.
For a fifth.
So many people there's so many. This is like a family tree that's like spewed like 80 different ways. I'm not talking about like an Alabama family tree where it's like sister, brother, son, sister, brother. Like I'm talking about a
mom and sister.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about a legit like what happened here was you had Sam Darnold that you traded away. I think a second and a conditional fifth or something like that for. Second and fifth you give up for Sam Darnold. But you had Teddy Bridgewater. Then you go out and you draft Matt Corral. So you're like, oh, they must have made a mistake.
You didn't bring up the best part. Picking up the 5th-year option. Sharing out the money.
What was it, 19.5 or 20 million for Sam Darnold? They picked up the option.
Top 20 paid quarterback right now. He's not a starter.
Top 15 paid quarterback, I think.
Dude, it's unbelievable.
So they picked that option up on him. They have him and they have Matt Corral now. So you're like, okay, groom him. Is it going to be one of those situations where Darnold has a few bad games, Matt Corral comes in?
Yeah.
Now, I know you didn't give up a first-round draft pick, but that's still draft capital you gave up for Darnold.
It was a 4th-round draft pick for Matt Corral. It's a good draft pick.
I actually like that pick a lot when they made it. But still, you gave up draft capital to get Sam Darnold. You gave up draft capital to get Matt Corral. Then you trade more draft capital. Not a crazy trade, but to get Baker Mayfield. So now you already had a quarterback controversy. Now you have a 3-way quarterback controversy. And of those 3 quarterbacks, 2 of them pretty much unproven suck. Maybe you could say, obviously, Sam Darnold. People made excuses for him. His offensive line, the Jets. Last year he came in, he started 3-0, and then finished the year like 5-0.
Adam Gase
suck.
The head coach.
So then you go draft Matt Corral. And you're like, okay, he slipped all the way to the 4th round. He's gonna need some time, but quarterback controversy. Now you have Baker Mayfield, another guy outside of one playoff year that he had. They had that one playoff year. He's underperformed. They ran the ball. He didn't throw it a lot.
Yeah.
He was having bad games.
My hot take is, dude, that team dragged Baker Mayfield to all those wins. That team,
right?
If you put a
7 years worth of first-round draft picks,
a competent quarterback could have taken that team to the AFC Championship, probably Super Bowl. He couldn't beat. Who was the Chiefs quarterback? Patrick Mahomes goes down. Taylor Heineke comes to mind, but I can't remember who it was. Just like Chad Henne.
Literally. Chad Henne.
The Browns.
You're like, how is he still in the league? Like, Chad Henne was like in the league in like the early 2000s, like mid 2000s.
Baker couldn't beat that team like that. And you have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, dude.
That team is the Browns were so bad for so long that they literally on their roster have nothing but early first-round draft picks because they were so bad. And that team was finally growing because you're like, all right, you got Myles Garrett, you got Denzel Ward, you had before you traded away, for Odell Beckham, you had Jabril Pepper. Their team was literally Jedrick Wills, David Njoku, and Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. I don't have to name every single player on the roster. You get the point. But loaded with like elite talent.
First, second round picks everywhere. No, there's no third round pick there.
Greedy Williams, another good player.
I think actually was the third round pick, Jarvis Landry. Maybe, I get roasted in the comments. He ends up being a second, but there you go. The worst draft pick out there was Jarvis Landry. Kareem Hunt, I think he was fourth too.
Right.
But starter and all pro. So,
right. So you get the point is their team was absolutely loaded. And people a lot of people hated on Baker, but that's what I'm saying, rightfully so. Some people will say, oh, it's the Browns. But Baker Mayfield sucks, dude. For you to go to a team with that much talent, and other than of the few years that you've been there, you had one playoff year, and the other years you missed the playoffs. And even in that playoff year, he only had a couple really good games. I'm sorry, dude. Clown. So now you're gonna have him and Sam Darnold battling it out for not a starting quarterback position. Who's the bigger clown?
Yeah.
Matt Rule's gonna end up getting fired mid-season, which is a great prop bet to also place. You can have what coach gets fired first. I saw that. Matt Rule, because what's going to happen is you have a controversy with Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. They're going to suck.
When Baker sucks, you put Darnold sucks. You put who? Corral in. Corral gets injured. Now you're back to one of the other guys. Listen, it's the exact same thing that happened last year when they brought back Cam Newton, thinking that they could catch lightning in a bottle. Dude, it's not the quarterback. Dude, top down, something has to change. And I feel awful for CMC, DJ Moore, your boy Robbie Anderson. Dude,
Robbie Anderson came out publicly. Was like, nah, I hate Baker Mayfield. And now that's your quarterback, bro.
Dude, their defense.
That's my quarterback.
That defense is very young and very good. And we all have to wait at least a year to just see what this team can develop into. It's a wasted year.
So
that's what I look at it right now. But
that's what I want to talk about football right now. I want to talk about Baker Mayfield and Zach Wilson.
That was perfect.
So that's kind of where I'm at on everything right now. But I did, before we go, there were some free agency signings in hockey. I'm a huge hockey guy, but unfortunately, a lot of people out there.
The New Jersey native is about to be signed to the Islanders, baby.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Did you see that Gaudreau ended up signing with the Blue Jackets?
I didn't see that.
Gaudreau signed with the Blue Jackets, which is one of the hottest free agents, signings on the market. Came from Calgary Flames. He was incredible during the playoffs. He went to Columbus, and there was a lot of chatter. He's going to go to the Devils. He's going to go to the Islanders. Max Pacioretty, who is an incredible player for Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas all of a sudden, fell off the face of the earth last year. Ended up not being a playoff team. They traded him over to the Carolina Hurricanes, who lost Vincent Trocheck to the Rangers today because the Rangers didn't re-sign Andrew Kopp, who they traded for the deadline, who played a big factor in their playoff run. So NHL is kind of spiraling around, but I don't want to spend too much time on it because not to sound like anti-hockey, but most people this time of year don't care about hockey. So at least, we got football season coming up, baseball season's going on, basketball is always basketball.
As far as hockey goes, I do the flying V as long as I got my coach.
Exactly. You're a mighty duck. What can I say about you, dude?
That's all it is. Mighty Duck. Emilio Estevez, the Mighty Ducks, man.
Literally.
Emilio.
So, I want to go through some of these games, that are coming up, and
whip the bets out.
Well, Giancarlo Stanton just hit a home run, so that was one of the ones I was going to get to. We'll get on that because everyone's going to be like, "Oh, it's because you're a Yankee fan, because you're a New Yorker." No, we're going to talk about that first because the Yankees, a team that was 15, 16 games at one point during that Red Sox series, 16 games ahead in first place.
Yep.
They were the end-all, be-all, bet them every game. They're always winning. They're never slumping, blah, blah, blah. They lost 3 games in a row. The 2 games they lost were Boston. They blew leads. One was 6-2. They ended up with 11-6. Crazy. All right. There's no way they lose to Cincinnati out there calling them out. Cole goes out there, pitches 7 innings, gem, whatever he does, goes out there, mows batters down. 11 strikeouts, I think he had. And maybe just 2 walks. Clay Holmes, who's been the best closer in baseball, loads the bases up. They take him out of the game. Ronnie Peralta comes in, blows the game, loses to Cincinnati. Tonight, I slammed the Yankees. I put them in every parlay I had. I put them in every bet I had. I was like, there's no way this team is losing 4 games in a row. when they literally are on pace for 117 wins for the season. No way. They all of a sudden, Severino, something's not right with them. Back to back, 3 home runs in a row. They're down 4-0 to start the game. But John Harlow just had a game-tying home run, so maybe they'll come back and win this one. But my point on that is a team that is on pace for 117 wins, when they lose 4 in a row, if you're a smart bettor, what are the chances you're going to lose 5 in a row?
Start hammering.
For that reason alone. What are the chances a team that's on pace for 117 wins is going to lose 4 or 5 games in a row, whatever it may be?
But this is also now where you can start doubling down. What's the odds? 5, 6, 7. There are no odds
It's
that
like
a team
roulette.
that hot that is actually going to go that far.
I don't know, like being a degenerate gambler. I don't know if you know about this, Joe, but if someone's a degenerate casino gambler, they'll tell you that in roulette, a lot of bets that people like to do is they like to go over to a roulette table where it's been like 5 or 6 reds in a row, right? And then they do progressive betting. So they start with $10 and they'll bet on black because it hasn't come out in a while. And then what they'll do is say, okay, if I lose, now I'll bet 20. I'll double my bet to recoup. If it loses again, I'll bet 40. Bet double again.
And you only have to hit that one.
So as long as you have enough bankroll to work with, eventually that trend's going to break. And because you were betting double every time, you're going to win. I'm not saying to do that with baseball because it's not 1-to-1 odds like roulette. So you would lose your money crazy like that, betting on minus 200. But what I'm saying is, for the chance of it, you got nasty Nestor on the mound, the stash, and he's going to be going up against Cincinnati. Cincinnati sucks, man. They started the season, 3-25? I mean, come on. They were being, some people were calling out they were throwing games. So that's a bet that I love right away tomorrow. The money line is minus 200. You can get minus 1.5 with a team total at 4.5. I'd slam that. The Braves, they ran into lost 2-3 to the Mets.
Yep.
So you're a Mets fan, Joe.
Very happy about that. They've this actually was the series that was going to determine who was in first place, and I'm very thankful that Scherzer came out, did what he had to. They lost game 2, but they had no problem winning game 3 today and extended their lead to 2.5 games. And I think both these teams are going to be in the playoffs. So for me,
it's going to be a hell of a division push towards the end. This team's going to be neck and neck. They might face each other again in the playoffs. It's going to be incredible.
Listen, I know we'll definitely get we'll get on each other with this one, but DeGrom's coming back, man. We'll see. Yeah.
I'll touch on DeGrom real quick. The guy in rehab assignments throwing 100 plus mile an hour pitches every at bat of throwing that. That's the reason why your shoulder's falling off. As amazing as he is, and I love him, I'd love to have him on my team. The reason why I can't stay on the field is when you're throwing 100 something every batter you face, you got to dial it back. Your shoulder's not gonna be able to handle it.
What he has to do is grow the hair back out. Like when he had the hair, dude, there was no problem with the shoulders.
It's the wind in your hair. You can pick it up an extra few miles an hour.
You have flow, like I got a little flow back there, but you let it go. That's where you get all the power. That's the Greek mythology.
I couldn't agree more. I cut my hair, and now mine's not growing back the way it used to.
Look at Syndergaard, just awful now.
He's not awful, but I get it.
Cheeks.
His ERA is still in the 3s. But anyway, I bet I love tomorrow is the Braves again as well. So the Braves, I think the money line on the Braves was minus 220. But again, minus 220 money line, you get, the run line at minus 1.5 or in the low, 100s. You can take their team total over 4.5. It'll probably be. They're facing Anibal Sanchez, who hasn't been pitching, recently. I don't know if he was injured to start the season. And the Braves are throwing Kyle Wright. And Kyle Wright's been phenomenal. I mean, the guy's 10-4, 2.97 ERA, whip, which matters more to me, 1.16. So he's basically allowing 1 base runner an inning, 103 strikeouts to only 33 walks, 8 home runs in 103 innings pitched. So he only lets up a home run every 12, 13 innings. I'm slamming that. Do a Yankee Braves parlay, take each minus 1.5 team total. I love that. There's obviously some other games on the slate that we'll talk about, but those are the ones I would key in.
Yeah, I wish that I would tell everyone to bet the Mets, but I'm just not very confident in Carrasco right now. So
yeah, he's been a tale of 2 seasons. Carrasco.
Yeah,
Carrasco started the season. You were like, okay, he looks like old Carrasco, and then the last one started terrible.
You needed him to be the 3rd or 4th pitcher. He was forced to be the number 1 or 2 for a while. His ERA then struggled, but until I feel confident with him pitching, I'm just going to stay away from the Mets.
I agree. The last team of baseball I want to talk about, because we were talking about the Yankees and everything like that, and me and you spoke about this the other day, was a team that's been extremely disappointing and surprising, was the White Sox.
Yeah.
So the White Sox were a team that last year was like the up and coming team. They're the team that they played great. They had Tony La Russa managing them. They had like an edge to them. They were hitting home runs. They were getting good pitching. Giolito. They had Rodon, who's now in San Francisco, I believe. But regardless, they were hitting from all angles, and they were a really good team last year. This year fell off the face of the earth, and analytics. I'm anti-analytics, right? Like, not that I'm anti-analytics, but like baseball's so analytics driven now that I'm the type of person where I think, okay, you can use analytics, for certain things, right? But there needs to be that like personal touch still. You still need to have a manager. You still need to know when to steal a base, when to just knock that runner in, bunt it, hit a fly ball for sacrifice. And they weren't doing that enough. That's why you were seeing a lot of strikeouts and home runs. This year's changed a little bit. Teams have kind of like still done analytics, veered off. The White Sox.
Well, I was going to say, we did talk about this off camera about how they're such a good hitting team.
Incredible hitters up and down the lineup.
I pulled it up. They have the 5th best batting average in baseball, 254. Top to bottom, everyone can get on base. 5th, very well. 5th in baseball. 5th in baseball. Then you go, the next big categories everyone wants, runs, 17th, on base percentage, 20th, slugging percentage, 24th. They're in the bottom half of every other statistical category. To go from 5th to bottom is baffling.
And this is where I think that Tony La Russa is too old school and out of touch. I think he expects a thing from his players and doesn't like. This was a lineup that they're like, oh, heavy righty lineup. They like to smack lefties. Okay, so this year they're not hitting lefties as well. Okay, you're changing your approach. They're not hitting home runs. The home run ball is what wins in analytics. Their average is 5th. They're not hitting home runs. They're not winning games. Pitching, they're not getting great pitching. Their starting rotation. A lot of guys are in the 4s or higher ERA, 5s ERAs even. You know what I mean? They had Dallas Keuchel until at the deadline. Not the deadline, but earlier in the year. Keuchel went over to the Diamondbacks because he was doing so terrible struggling there. His ERA was in the 6s for the White Sox. So Giolito has to put himself. His ERA stinks. They don't have Rodon anymore. Lance Lynn was hurt for a big portion of the season.
Cease is the only guy that's keeping him alive. And that's
you're
bad.
You're wasting Tim Anderson. You know what I mean? You're wasting Robert. You're wasting all these guys. And they're the biggest disappointment, and Tony La Russa should be
fired.
And
yeah, you're not giving him finish the year out. If they turn it around, he keeps his job.
Nope.
Mid-season fire.
Nope.
And you're just promoting from within.
Yeah. They're already. Look at their record right now.
43 and 45. 3rd in the AL Central.
The 3rd in one of the worst divisions in baseball, where you play the Tigers, you play the Royals, even the Cleveland Guardians. It's weird to not say Indians anymore. Stink. Like, so, I can't with them. You have to follow analytics somewhat. They're obviously not doing it. They suck. That's the biggest disappointment / surprise.
But the worst part is, and this is why I don't know if they'll fire him, they're still in the hunt. As bad as they're playing, they're still in the hunt because the Twins can't separate. The Guardians are who they are, and they're right there.
The Twins are kind of like the same thing, I feel like. The Twins are like that situation where they're just one of those teams that every year, and Twins fans hate Yankees fans like me because every year the Yankees are the team.
You go against the Yankees and the Astros. So even if you win that first round, all right, now who's the next? Yankees? Who's next? Astros?
Well, they have to play one of them in the first round. That's a problem. They can get out of the first round because they got to play one of them first when they get to the next, and they can never beat the first one.
That's not happening.
Major disappointment for me. I don't think they're going to be catching, obviously Twins, Cleveland, whoever it may be. Obviously, the Tigers and Royals suck, but that's really all I got for baseball. But I want to talk about the bets that I like. Once again, reiterate it.
Yeah.
I like the Yankees and the Braves tomorrow. Take their run lines, parlay the money lines, take the team total, do whatever you got to do. Teams that were on a losing streak, teams that have a good pitching advantage. They're going to go out there and they're going to do work tomorrow. So, play the trends. 162-game season. These teams are going to win well over 100 games. They're going to win these games. Twice on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going to stay out of baseball for a little bit. I enjoy watching baseball right now, so no need for me to bet.
Fair. So I don't want to take up too much time on this. This was meant to literally be an impromptu, barely anybody
Yeah.
seeing it. Post to YouTube, like, subscribe, set the notification thing to us. This is a new thing we're going to be doing. So just to recap, Joe, my buddy from Island Breaks, is going to be on the OddsFathers with us.
I'm now an odds father.
Yes, he's an owl father. Once a week, we're going to be doing these live streams. Just to reiterate for the last time, fan interaction. Join in, argue sports, argue bets, argue whatever you want to argue with us, or not argue, agree with us. Just like I said, like, subscribe, you know the whole drill. I'm going to be posting picks again as this picks up, on the daily, the picks I talk about on the stream and the picks on the days that we don't do the stream. We're going to be doing that as well. All the picks will be free. It's not going to be, there's no VIP or anything like that anymore. Just, with all the personal stuff I got going on in my life, I don't have the time for it.
And yeah, with football season right around the corner, then basketball season, baseball playoffs, this is about to heat up, and I can't wait.
Fantasy football, the start of the season for basketball, hockey, baseball playoffs.
It's going to be crazy. So thank God we got in now. Hopefully you guys are entertained by us. And like, Nick already said, come interact with those guys. Whether it's a hot take, cold take, whether you agree or disagree, come on by and just conversate.
We love you. We appreciate you. We miss you. We'll be back. Loyal fans. Hope to see you here. Thanks again.
Later, guys.